This podcast is a member of the Place to Be Nation family. Visit us at placetobenation.com, the only place to be in your pop culture world.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Point of parliamentary procedure.
Have at it, horse.
When a problem comes along, you must zip it. Zip it good. From Kisu high in the wall. Nita Hioto. Subtitle. Zip it.
Say it! Say it!
Dad, I wish you could just shut your big yapper!
If I had a dick, this is where I'd tell you to suck it.
Let me put it this way. Have you ever heard of Plato, Aristotle, Socrates?
Yes?
Morons.
So you get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir. I said good day.
You're listening to PlayStation Pop's Great Debate, a spirited discussion forum covering topics in the world of movies, music, television, sports, and pop culture. And now, here is your host, Andy Atherton.
Place to Be Nation, welcome back to the Great Debate here on the Place to Be Nation Pop Feed. I am your host, Andy Atherton, and thank you all for joining us tonight. It's been a little while since we've had a great debate, and it took me time to go through the talent pool here at Place to Be Nation, and I was able to pick out the best and the brightest and bring them to you tonight. Here we're going to do a little sports, we're going to do a little pop culture, and just have a little fun, spark some conversations, spark some chats, see where it goes, and we'll take it from there. All right. First off, a very familiar voice here at these parts. He is the co-host of the Week in Sports with the Cowboy, Roger Morissette. He is a regular on the Air and Pop with myself, Mr. Scott Criscolo, and Dr. G. George Rubalou, and very often can be heard on the mothership over on the Wrestling Feed, the Place to Be podcast, Mr. John Arsenio D'Amato. John, how are you tonight, man?
Great, sir. It was great to meet you at Mania, and I think we finally recovered. It's been like a week and a half, hopefully. Still feeling the after effects. I've been bombing like Michael Richards at the Laugh Factory since WrestleMania. Hopefully, I'll bring some entertainment tonight, and we got a great crew here.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, the pleasure was all mine, John. You know, you and I think I had one beer, and you don't drink, correct? And we're just recovering now.
Yeah.
You weren't really drinking that day.
I used to be a hard charger, a hard traveler, but yeah.
You were the king of the Diet Coke, and
I want to enjoy the moments.
Yes. You stayed stone cold, as you will, sober that day. I had my son with me. Plus, it was a long day, and I kind of wanted to remember it with the price that I paid for my tickets. So it was one of those like, oh, how was Mania? I don't know. I drank too much. It was like.
We made the right choice because there was I don't want to snitch anybody out, but there was some people that were taking naps, and even during the main event, there was a lot of eyes closed. And one of them was next to me. I don't want to snitch out anybody.
We call that the Nick Duke experience,
or the standing 8 count, as Mr. Peter Winston called it on his show. When a bunch of us walked in, and a couple of people got singled out, like, you guys are done drinking, right? And Mr. John goes, hey, you know what? I want to get harassed like this. I go to my parents' house. Come on, get away, leave alone. Come on.
The lecture of the lifetime.
Yes, it was a lecture. But yeah, John, awesome to meet you, and thank you for being here tonight. Now, that other voice you just heard, he is one half of the Hard Traveling Fanboy, is the longest episodic weekly comic podcast in all of Place to Be Nation. Also a co-host on Talking WCW and a co-host on What If over on the Wrestling Feed, Mr. Greg Phillips. Greg, how are you tonight, my friend?
I'm doing great, man. I'm excited to be on here, and I will be bringing a little bit of my hockey expertise to the show.
Yeah, that's why I reached out for you. I need that Greg Phillips insider on the NHL. You know, Barry Merrill's got nothing on you, my friend.
And boy, I've got a sweeter mullet, too.
Ah, yes, you do. Awesome. Thanks for being here, Greg. And then, finally, this guy I've been after for a long time to have on one of my shows, and I finally got him, one of the top guys here at Place to Be Nation. He is the co-host of the Wrestling Warzone on the Wrestling Feed, Mr. Chad Campbell. Chad, thank you for joining me tonight.
I'm glad to be here, Andy. The Braves are going to the bullpen, so I'm ready to fight somebody. So should be a feisty, great debate.
Awesome. Hey, we like feisty here in the Great Debate. Awesome. Yeah, we got I got the Yankees and Red Sox on. I really don't ever have to watch Yankee games. Justin got me into a Yankee chat on Messenger, so that's all I need. I don't even have to pay for the S Network. I get enough Yankee all day on my phone blowing up, so it's great. But thank you, Chad. I appreciate you coming to us remotely from an undisclosed location here tonight for the Great Debate. Chapman just came in. The Yankees are up 5-3 in the ninth inning on the Sox. So, so early season rivalry here. Got people with their hands on their heads as usual, Yankee Stadium, which is great. But here we go. We're going to start our Great Debate show proper with the sports segment. Now, we like to give a question that goes across the four major sports in America. So for our question this episode is, if you could change one thing about each of the four major sports, what would it be? And like rule changes, gameplay, etc. So we're going to start with the NFL, and we're going to start with you, Mr. Phillips. Greg, what's one thing you would change about the NFL?
Well, this was a tough one for me because I enjoy the NFL as a league. I enjoy the style of play and everything for the most part. But I think the biggest thing for me would be to kind of, sometimes you have a constitutional committee that will look at a constitution. I would like to have the NFL rule book kind of re-examined from the ground up to kind of put in some common sense measures to stop things like to maybe equalize things and realize that maybe a 15-yard penalty for sneezing on the quarterback isn't the best idea. Maybe, things like the pass interference rules, what constitutes pass interference, the catch rule, which I think they did a great job of reanalyzing in the offseason this past year. But I think taking more of a common sense approach to some of these rules that have been written for many, many years in a lot of cases, some that have been rewritten when they didn't need to be. And that would kind of be I'm encompassing in part of this overhauling overtime, because I'm going to be in the probably minority of people out there that greatly prefers the college football overtime to the NFL overtime. So personally, I would like to see each team get a chance to possess the ball, regardless of field goal, touchdown, whatever. I love that concept. It creates more excitement in the game. And, so that would be it for me, just kind of like a committee to reanalyze the rule book from the ground up and kind of add some common sense approaches that we're seeing to a couple of rule changes in the AAF and the XFL. I would be interested in seeing that.
Yeah, those, I know the XFL, some things stuck around if you watch that great, HBO or
ESPN?
ESPN, with the XFL with him and Vince and Dick Ebersol. Me personally, I'm not a fan of forward progress, breaking the plane. Like, to me, it's like, where you get dropped, that's where the ball is, and you don't get the tip over the plane. You get in the friggin' end zone. That's how I feel. And also, this kind of happened at the Super Bowl this past year. You should be able to challenge penalties, I think. If you can challenge plays and a penalty is a call by an official. It's by a human at a certain perspective. I know they send it upstairs. This Mr. Risha Saints got highly robbed, and if they could have thrown the challenge flag on that, that would have been probably a very different Super Bowl, I think. Chad, let's go over. Well, sorry, Greg, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, I would like to, if they institute that, I would like to institute retroactive penalty observations that might allow, through hook or by crook, my Miami Dolphins to claim a couple Super Bowls in my lifetime in the past,
There you go. Chad, what about you? What would you change about the NFL?
I think Greg touched on probably the biggest problem. Of that, for me, it's always the kind of what constitutes a catch.
Yeah.
I know in the last few years that's been the most frustrating issue for me. And I think it is kind of a consistency issue where, if you're running the ball and you break the plane immediately, no matter what happens afterwards, that's it. But with a catch, you can catch it, have both feet, land, roll, do a somersault, whatever. And then if you fumble the ball, then that's a incomplete pass or something. It just didn't seem like it seemed like we kind of lost, I guess, what the point of the rule originally was.
Mm-hmm.
Now it does look like they've tweaked that, so going forward, hopefully it'll be easier. But I know there's at least a few Sundays every year, mainly for fantasy purposes, where I'm pretty frustrated at a catch call in the end zone.
Yeah, you shouldn't have to have a picture-in-picture with a former official explaining a dude's process of catching the pass like you're breaking down the Zapruder film or something.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, the Dez one, I think, is probably the most egregious example you can point to. Like, I don't really know how that was not a catch, but I mean, there's usually a few that you can see each year.
Or trying to explain to a casual fan what a football move is. You know, did he make a football move? Did he not make a football? What is a football move? Like, seriously, trying to explain that. And
he made a baseball move. That's not a catch.
That's right.
Every time they say football move, I think of the Bobby Knight press conference where he makes fun of the term game face. I just think of that when they say football move.
Awesome. John, what about you? What would you change about the NFL?
I would, to cut some time, just streamline the replay process and to take it out of the hands of the officials on the field. Once there's a challenge or something, just send it right to wherever the NHL headquarters is, because they got all the capabilities. They're in a stress-free environment in the office where they can really look at the play from all the angles, et cetera. They have the technology. That's kind of like what the NHL does. Once there's like a challenge, they pretty much send it to the main office, and the main office gives the yay and nay on the call. Because now the officials, they got to go over, they got to go under the booth. The guys got to come out with the iPad, and sometimes it's raining, it's cold. It's a real fans are throwing beer at them, pissing on them and stuff. It's a real stressful environment. So once there's a challenge, just have the guys in HQ be the deciding factor. Have the experts, like the Gene Steratore types or whatever, and let them make the final call.
Awesome, cool. All right, so let's move on to Major League Baseball. We'll start you, Chad. What do you think? What would you change about Major League Baseball?
Oh man, I had a lot for Major League Baseball. I had about 4 or 5. I guess I think the biggest one, and I think the one that's probably going to come to the head with the next labor agreement, is just the process of the arbitration with the players, the player control that the owners have, and what you're seeing now with contracts in the sport. I do think we may be heading towards a work stoppage. I think at 2021 is when the collective bargaining agreement's up. And I understand that all the analyticals are saying that in your 30s you are regressing as a player, so they're not more apt to make dumb contracts later on, so you're not stuck with like a Pujols. I totally get that. But when you're getting these players and they're not, you're seeing the manipulation of service time, like what you're seeing with Vlad Jr. this year, what you saw with Acuna last year, to where, now they're 22 entering the league. You have 5 or 6 more years of control over them. So now, they're 28 or 29 before they hit free agency, and they're just depending on arbitration, their arbitration years, at least giving them something to kind of work their way up, or they're signing very friendly team extensions, which you're seeing now, which as a Braves fan, I'm delighted with the contracts that Albies and Acuna just signed, but it kind of is what it is. Not too many spilt tears over somebody that's making $100 million, but when you do look at the projection systems, it could be making $250, like that could be his worth, quote unquote, if you look at the Zips projection. So I think that's probably the biggest lingering issue, and I'll chime in probably with what the others say and see if that was one of the other. Okay,
well, we'll come back to you. We'll come back. You can get the rest off your chest. If one of us doesn't say it, we'll come back to you, Chad, I promise. Mr. D'Amato, what do you say about the MLB?
They've
what was that, John?
Tried in like the lower levels of the minor. I said they've tried it with the lower levels in the minor leagues with the automated strike zone.
Okay.
They're it's basically all computerized, and there's a guy in the booth, and he radios down. The home plate umpire has an earpiece, and basically it's all automated, and it's the guy in the booth says whether it's a strike a ball, and he just radios down, and the home plate umpire is just like a robot, and says whatever the computer says, and it'll limit the arguments and a lot of time and stuff. That's all, and it'll be more of a streamlined strike zone because every home plate umpire has a different strike zone.
Yeah, he'll be there too. Yeah, that's true. Every umpire does. You have to kind of know it. That's kind of, I think, what made Greg Maddux so great, because he knew his umpires like you wouldn't believe. He knew exactly how to pitch each time. All right, Greg, what about you?
Already did.
Greg, what about you?
That's my favorite of all time.
I just didn't like him because he used the Yankees to get more money. That's why I didn't like Greg Maddux.
That's my favorite baseball player of all time, too. So there you go.
But for me, I would like to see – I'm somebody that has seen my interest in the sport of baseball wane significantly in the last 10 years or longer. And I realize that part of that is just my attention span is shrinking as I get older. And so I would like to see a shortened season. I think I don't think there's any real reason to be playing 160 games of anything. By the point, I would like to see it reduced as far down as 120, because I think by that point, you know who the good teams are, you know who the bad teams are, and you can get to the good stuff, which is the postseason anyway. Plus, it would increase the value of the regular season just by making it more special, and give you a chance to perhaps elongate the playoffs a little bit, and which is, to me, the best thing that baseball does. They have one of the best postseasons in all sports, and I would like to see the emphasis put on that and shortening the season. Plus, I think you would see a lot less catastrophic injuries, a lot fewer catastrophic injuries rather, and it might increase the overall quality of the game.
Yeah, I could see that happen. I mean, not see it happening, but I mean, I would.
No, it's not going to happen.
I would be in favor of it personally. One thing I would like to change. I have two things. Like, I've been on. We've talked about it before on the show about the DH, and I think the DH should be in both leagues. You know, they're never going to get rid of it. The Players Union will never let it happen. So just put the DH in the National League. But the other thing too is I think they should move the trading deadline. I think to August 15th, because it just I don't know. I know people are in favor, like, you got to take, what are you going to take that chance August 1st on pulling the trigger? But then then you don't, you do, whatever. I think because of the wild card, I think that there's more teams that are still in it, and that August 15th I think is a better date in my opinion for the non-waiver trade deadline. So, Chad, let's go back to you. So you had a bunch to say. If you want to fire off a couple more just to get them off your chest.
Automatic strike zone was one I had. DH in both leagues. I think DH in both leagues in particular is a no-brainer. I mean, because I'm a National League guy, but the National League is the only kind of system of baseball right now that doesn't really operate with a DH. I mean, in college you have a DH, quote unquote, and everything else in the minor leagues as well. And then I just think the marketability for sure is a big issue with MLB. They just came out with cracking down on like the usage of GIFs for minor league baseball clips and stuff like that. I mean, it's just embarrassing. Like, you got these young talent all throughout the minor leagues, and to not, to be afraid, like Baseball America had to remove all sorts of content because they got a cease and desist from Major League Baseball. I mean, learn to market your players, and I don't think, if you want to buy the MILB TV, you're going to buy it. You're not going to say, oh, I'm not buying that because I can see a 15-second GIF of the home run on Twitter or whatever. I mean, it's ridiculous. So I think that's a big one.
All right. Cool. All right, so we're going to move over to the NBA. John D'Amato, what about you? What do you say about the NBA? What would you change about it? Paging Mr. J. Arsenio D'Amato.
I would change nothing. The NBA is perfect. I'm just kidding.
I know.
They have the part about where it's kind of easy, like when guys have expiring contracts and there's nonsense, and then they're traded at the deadline for cap reasons, and then if it's a losing team, they say go screw, and the team usually winds up cutting them, and then they have a choice to go to like the Warriors or whatever. They need to stop that nonsense.
Where they build these powerhouse teams. Basically, the players have all the power, and we build these Miami Heats, the Warriors, whatever. They all decide we're all going to go here. They not to conspire or collude, but it's something that was unheard of in sports before it all started happening over there. Greg, what about you for the NBA?
Gosh, I had one all picked out, and then his actually sparked another one in me that maybe I'll save for after our round here. But okay. The one that I had was I would like to see the playoffs cut in half.
Okay.
I know that's extreme, but listen, 16 teams in a 30-team league, more than half of your league is making the playoffs. That's ridiculous to me. That is taking away any importance in your playoff system. For me, it should be 8 teams. You put the top 4 in each league. I think they should take cues from baseball. Top 4 in each league. Have them in, and if you have to do it a different way, you can do it with 1-game playoffs or 3-game series or whatever to set up if you need to go to 12 or something. But I like 8, and of course, if you did this, you'd have to seed them by overall record, not conference record. But it's just ridiculous. What do I care about the Warriors demolishing whoever the number 8 seed is in the West? And it's been like this for years. The Bulls in the 90s playing some jobber team in the first round. Nobody wants to watch that. I want to see what happens when the Warriors play the Rockets, or even when the Warriors play, the Spurs or somebody like that has some level of cash to them. I don't want to see them beating up on the Clippers or whoever it is. And so for me, I think reducing the playoffs, making it mean more to make the playoffs, and as a result of all this, it would make the regular season of the NBA actually matter, which it kind of doesn't right now. So, for me, it's the playoffs thing.
Yeah, I'm sensing a theme with playoffs and things not mattering. Chad, what about you? What about the NBA?
Yeah, that was one. The NBA was kind of where I attacked the season schedule, because I do think more than especially more than like even baseball and the NFL, I think you can really parachute in around Christmas time and kind of not skip a beat on what's going on. And then the playoff situation, I mean, the playoffs last year in particular were really atrocious. The other one that I had, though, and I kind of did the cardinal mistake where I'm mentioning something and I don't really have a solution to it.
Okay.
Right. But I find with basketball more than the other sports I watch, it can really grind to a halt in the end game, especially with like the free throws and the fouling strategies. And that is just probably the most grating kind of end of a close game situation for me, where if a team's up, I don't know, like 5 points, they're going to constantly be fouled, and that last like 48 seconds on the clock can take
2 minutes,
25 minutes
yes.
of real time. And that's I don't really know how you can fix that necessarily, unless you make it real unadvantageous to just foul. But it's something that I definitely notice with the NFL, you have a certain amount of timeouts, and baseball, you have pitching changes, of course, but it does seem like those sort of build the tension to a degree, whereas with the NBA, I just feel like it grinds to a halt more.
What about icing the kicker? Do you think, I know we talked about the NFL, but that just popped in my head. Like, are you in favor of icing the kicker? Does that ever work? I mean, I've never.
I think in college it certainly can. If you have an inexperienced kicker, I think there's certain strategies where freshman kicker, the stadium's going crazy. It can certainly get in their head, swirling. NFL, I don't think it's as much at play, and
typically it backfires in the NFL.
Right?
Yeah,
in college.
It kind of does.
Yeah. I do always enjoy when they. Go ahead, John. Sorry.
No, I'm sorry. They need to have a certain time limit to where they need to call the timeout before the ball is snapped or before the kicker gets like his practice kick. That's true. That's the part they need to clean up, because a lot of times, they call it and it's too late. Not too late. The timeout it goes through, but it's too late as far as the play goes through, and the kicker gets his practice kick and all that. So they need to have like a certain like a limit to when they could call it.
That seems like an easy fix. I mean, you could just say, like, once the play clock hits a certain number, like, you can call a timeout.
On a field goal, as opposed to a regular play. Yeah, that's the only thing I don't like.
The other NBA thing that I wanted to mention that kind of got brought up by Mr. D'Amato's point is, as a fan of a quote small market NBA team, man, it's like, it feels like there's no point. And this is another one of those things, like Chad mentioned, that is a problem that I don't think has a solution, at least one that's realistic. But, man, it sure would be nice as a Utah Jazz fan if I had any reason to think that Rudy Gobert and Donovan Mitchell were actually going to stay members of the Utah Jazz through the duration of their primes. But I know what's going to happen. In 4 or 5 years, if then, maybe earlier than that, they're both going to be wearing a Knicks uniform or a Lakers uniform or a Miami uniform or a uniform of some team that is in a hot spot city. And it goes back to that idea of these super teams that players want to live at South Beach. They want to live in these places that aren't Salt Lake City, Utah, or I don't know what another example would be, Minnesota.
Buffalo.
They want to live Buffalo, yeah. They want to live in these big cities. But what's beautiful about the NFL is you only have so much money to go around. You only have so many pieces you can move around. So at the end of the day, you might get stuck playing for a Buffalo or a Cleveland if you're Baker Mayfield or something like that. And then those teams have the same abilities to build their team that other teams do and to maintain that team that other teams do. And there's no kind of punishment system in place if you're a team that just goes and loads up on stars. And I get it. It's fair that these players can go play wherever they want to play. But I do think that it hurts the league in these cities like states like Utah and places like that, because my great hope every season, and I'm proud of how they played this year. They had a great season. But like my great hope is maybe you get out of the first round of the playoffs. And then you get drilled by the Warriors or Houston or whoever. So
you got a tough draw, man. You got a tough draw in that first round.
No doubt, man.
Portland, instead you got Houston. Yeah.
I know, it's ridiculous, man. Like I saw that and I was like, well, there goes that good season out the window. But I know that there's no real solution to that. But that's just a frustration I've had for a while in the NBA, and even back, going back to when Stockton and Malone retired. I knew, I was like, well, that's going to be the last time that Utah will have a championship contender in my lifetime, probably.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the Knicks haven't fared much better since then, so. And they're a big market team.
Plus the Knicks did them a favor by passing on Donovan Mitchell. That was
true.
Yeah. You take advantage of the big market screw ups.
Exactly. And if there's any team that screws up, it's the New York Knicks. So, okay, we're going to conclude with the NHL. Now, let me go to my fellow Ranger fan, John D'Amato here. John, what would you fix about the NHL?
Well, definitely the regular season. There's a lot of teams that clean up on the loser points, the point system, where you get a point even if you lose in overtime or in a shootout.
Yeah, I hate those.
And there's a lot of teams that benefit that when they play, they get a lot of points in overtime because they're adept at the 3-on-3, which isn't like real hockey. So they need to reward the teams for winning in regulation more. So they should go to a 3-2-1 system where you get 3 points for a regulation win, 2 points for an overtime or shootout win, and the loser's point for the overtime or shootout loss. So they need to emphasize that the regulation wins need a lot more. So give them an extra point for that to prevent the teams from racking up those overtime and those loser points.
Yeah, I didn't like it when they instituted that. It was, I remember the good old days of, 2 points for a win, 1 point for a tie. That was it. We don't see really ties anymore, so.
And also one more thing outside of the gameplay, what really annoys me, I don't know when they started it, but I guess like 10, 15 years ago. But when the home team went to the dark uniforms, I like old school where the home team wears the white, where you could turn on the game and right away you know who's home and who's away. The home team wears the white, and the road wears the dark team. But now that's the home teams wear the dark uniform because it was ridiculous. Last night the Blue Jackets of Columbus had their biggest win in their franchise history. They clinched their first playoff series in franchise history, and all the fans showed up in a whiteout. And they all wore white, which was ridiculous because the team was wearing their blue uniforms.
Oh, God.
It would have looked better if they were home and if they wore home whites.
Yeah,
that's just a little pet peeve.
Yeah, I believe I hear that. Chad, what about you?
That was straight out of the Criscolo playbook, the uniform.
I'm a uniform junkie. I play a little game when I listen to Scott's podcast. Anytime he says a junkie, I take a shot. I'm a belt junkie. I'm a this junkie. I'm a that junkie. he knows I love him. But, or pulling a Criscola, which means Googling or going on the IMDb in the middle of a show. But anyway, Chad, what did you change about the NHL?
I was hoping that maybe some of the more NHL aficionados like yourself at one time and John could help me out. But I guess the thing I struggle with the most is kind of a casual viewer that watches some playoff hockey and not much else is, for me, it's real easy watching the other leagues to kind of see the overall strategies that they're utilizing, whereas, like in the NBA, moving more towards teams just taking a lot of threes, and in baseball, the strikeout or home run or, a real powerful pitcher. It's kind of easy to see, this is the strategy they're going for. And in NHL, I'm not able to, I guess, grasp that as easy. Whereas it's just like, is this team doing more line changes or, how are they being more successful? I inevitably kind of just, just from the outside looking in, it most of the time sort of sees like, somebody makes a mistake, somebody just got an opportunity and they got a good shot off and it went in the goal. It's like, did they really create that or was it sort of an unforced error on the part of the opposing team that allowed the other team to get a goal? I don't know if teams started utilizing the flying V. That's kind of where my hockey strategy is.
I've fallen out of hockey viewing over the last few years. I went to actually more games this year than I have in a while. I went to 2 games. One was a minor league game. But right. I remember the Devils, specifically, when the Devils were on their run, they were playing trap, which was such boring hockey because it was just a lot of passing back and forth, not a lot of action. And they just wait till that little one opportunity. It was very low scoring. It was like hockey you just didn't want to watch because it was just like I would fall asleep watching it. Like anytime I'd come in, I'd be over at my parents' house. I'm like, Dad, what are you watching? He goes, the Rangers. Who are they playing? The Devils. I'm like, I'm out. I'm out. I'm not watching that shit. So, John, what about? Can you elaborate or any on Chad's?
That's an excellent point. I discussed it also in the last debate. What hurts hockey is it's a better sport live because it's easier to follow the puck when you're at the game, but it's hard. It's real hard to follow the puck on TV. It's a better live than TV sport. That's number one. And number two, out of the 4 major sports, that's definitely the sport where like the casual Joes like us have played the least. Like we've all played, grew up playing a lot of, baseball, football, basketball. So definitely that's the least played out of all those sports. And Chad made a good point. And I don't think there's only certain announcers and analysts that do a good job of explaining it to like of explaining like the strategies and stuff. Otherwise, they too kind of get caught up in the personalities. But then again, they have to push. They have to push to to make the sport more popular. Yeah. Like push the Ovechkins and the Stars. But and I guess they don't want to bog people down with the strategies. But that's on the announcers. It would be it's a great point, Chad. It would be better if they discuss strategy more to the novice viewers. But they got to get. They got to pump the Stars up.
Yeah, I'm sure not. I've never played a game of hockey in my life. I've only skated, a handful of times, period, like ice skated. So, that certainly plays a role in it as well, that with the other sports I kind of grew up with. So, that gave me an easier point of reference as well, for sure.
I can't skate, but I played a lot of floor hockey and street hockey with my friends growing up. Like my parents have they share a driveway with their neighbors, and it's actually perfect for like a little 3-on-3 or something like that with one goal and one wall. It was great. I was on the intramurals in high school. Actually, won one year, but yeah, it's more when you're playing it and more active in it. Hockey is, you kind of relate to it, and hockey is one of those things like you got to really be into it. I took my girlfriend to her first game. We went to see the Rangers play I think they played the Lightning. And I explained the game to her, and she was getting into it. It was so funny. Then we went a few weeks ago with actually Mr. Criscolo. Thank you for the tickets. It was me, her son, and my 2 kids. And her son had never been to a hockey game, so she was actually explaining it to him. And being that she was there live, she was able to explain it better than me just sitting here trying to explain it to her while watching a game on TV. I think she picked it up a lot better. I think so. Yeah, I totally agree. Hockey and baseball too. Also is. Yeah, I love watching baseball on TV, but being there is so much. You're just in that whole atmosphere. I mean, you can watch anybody in the NFL or NBA play on TV. I think it's a good game. It's a good game either way. All right, so we're gonna start with Chad. The NFL was rumored at one time to go to an 18-week schedule with 2 bye weeks for each team. Do you think they should or shouldn't, and why?
Yeah, I'm going with no.
Okay.
I think based on our previous discussions, and I mean, I don't think that's a problem with the NFL, certainly. I mean, I wouldn't be, as a huge college football fan, I enjoy the 12 game seasons because it really does feel like every game counts, even though you have a couple of kind of cupcakes usually with the big programs. But once you reach conference play, I mean, you cannot slip up at all. And I think the NFL does a good job of kind of going one level above that where, even as a Falcons fan this past year, you had that kind of run where they were above 500 or hanging around 500, and then they had that 4-game losing streak. So you sort of knew their season was sealed at that point in time. But you didn't have that many, I guess, dead weeks leading into the end of the season. Because, I mean, that's rough. I mean, it is rough to be a fan of like a 100-loss baseball team where, and in August and September when the teams lost 80 games, like a Baltimore Orioles fan, Peter Winston, I think, is trying to jump to another team now from becoming. But, I mean, it is tough. So I do think the NFL right now is kind of the perfect balance of it's a pretty lengthy season from September to the end of December with the regular season, and ends at a perfect time. And then you got your playoffs in January in the cold of January, and then that's it. And it makes you long for kind of August and the training camp starting. I think, time makes the heart grow fonder. So it certainly does with the NFL for me. And I don't think expanding it to 2 games would help. And that's just for my sheer enjoyment, much less kind of the injury aspect of the whole thing.
Yeah. Greg, what about you? Do you think the NFL should go to 2 bye weeks per team?
So when I first read this question, my reaction was the exact same as Chad's. Mm-hmm. However, after rereading it and seeing that it's 2 bye weeks, so essentially all you're doing is adding an extra bye week, I'm okay with that because I think as long as those bye weeks were staggered throughout the season, if you're sticking, I'm presuming, with 16 games.
Yep.
And 2 bye weeks, I like that because it gives you more time to heal up key injuries during the key course of the season. I think we've all been fans of teams that get the misfortune of having their bye week come in like week 4 or week 5, and then here's week 15 and you're in the midst of a playoff hunt. And all of a sudden your starting quarterback's got a bum ankle and is not making the throws that he's capable of making, and it takes your team right out of the playoff hunt. So I would like that, to maybe stagger an early bye week for most teams and a late bye week for most teams. Just again, I want to see the best quality of play And I think as long as you stick to 16 games, because I'm not in favor of extending the regular season as far as the games go.
Yeah, that's another rumor. Yeah,
we're currently at the number of games that are good. And also, just for player safety, that's what they're all about. An extra bye week would help with that to get ready for the postseason, especially so you don't get situations as much where you've got an injured Aaron Rodgers trying to lead the Packers against fully healthy Rams or something like that. So anyway, I'm actually in favor of this.
Yeah, and also I think with the I am too, if you can't tell my job. But because the more the international travel they're doing, they have like how many games in London every year. They want to go to Mexico City. I'm sure they'll want to expand to other countries at some point. I don't know exactly where. Maybe, Western Canada, maybe a Vancouver game. Maybe.
I hate the London thing, by the way.
Yeah. The only thing I like about it is those of us on the East Coast can have basically football from 9 in the morning all the way till about midnight. So if you're a real, fan who just loves has the TV on, Red Zone, whatever the hell you got, that's a lot of good football. Well, maybe not good football, but it's a lot of football nonetheless for you that day. And there could be an expansion team over there. Who knows? So I think the 2 bye weeks would help out with travel schedules too, if they want to send more teams abroad and make this more of a global sport. John, what about you? What do you think? Do you think we should go to 2 bye weeks with an 18-week schedule?
No, hard no on the 18 games.
No, not 18 games, 18 weeks. I mean, I know everybody complains about the preseason having 4 games, and they said, okay, well, let's take 2 of the preseason games and make them regular season games. That's not what this question is about, but I know that's been discussed. No, they had talked about when the bye week first came around. They said, okay, we're going to go to 1 bye week, 17 weeks right now, and then eventually we want to go to 18 weeks, each team having 2 weeks off. So what would you think? Are you in favor of that?
Yes, definitely, because what they really are pushing for is maybe to start the season a week later, and because they want to get that Super Bowl in that right around that February, the President's Day holiday, because pretty much everybody, nobody goes to work the day after the Super Bowl anyway. It's like the most, it's the most day that everybody calls in sick. So they want to get that 3-day holiday weekend and push the Super Bowl into that weekend, that President's Day holiday. So it's a big, the Super Bowl could be like a big holiday weekend.
Oh, I see. That's a good idea. I like that.
Yeah, but that would, but then again, they also want to have their cake and eat it too. They like to start when they do, like after the Labor Day, the 9/11, right around 9/11 week. So
yeah,
they take some manipulation. So that would where the extra bye week will come in handy.
All right. Cool. All right. So
yeah, and I thought it was 18 games. So
okay.
I'm dumb. So yeah, anything I said, I'm in favor of 18 week.
No, I did too, Chad. That's what I said. I said it's a hard no on the 18 games because these guys. No. They can't even make it through 16 alive. Yeah, definitely. It's a hard no on the 18.
Yeah.
So I am in favor of the question as worded.
I read it the same way you did it first, Chad. It was literally sitting here about 20 minutes ago, and I was like, "Oh, that's what that is." Okay.
Yeah. Sometimes I speak Andy, so you guys are just getting your entry level to it. Trust me, in my work job, it takes people years to learn how to speak my language. So I understand when you misread things I write. It's okay. I get it. All right. So, Greg, we're going to start with you. Which teams have the coolest mascots, in your opinion?
Well, to start out of the gates, I would go with the Alabama Crimson Tide and the Miami Dolphins.
Okay.
As the 2 coolest mascots in sports. But if I'm removing myself from emotional attachment, I would go. To me, this is a no-brainer. It's clearly the Syracuse Orange.
Yeah.
The Syracuse Orange is the best mascot in sports. I mean, this dude, I want to know what this guy's life is. I want to follow him around in the course of a week. Like, does he have a family of other oranges? Is he part of some sort of fruit village? Like, what does his life consist of? What does he do when Syracuse is not playing sports? Like, to me, he's the most fascinating mascot. And to me, the one that I always go to as my favorite. Like, remember the NCAA football games used to let you play an all-mascot game? I would always pick Syracuse.
There you go. All right, John, what about you? Who's your favorite or coolest mascot?
The retired San Diego Chicken.
Yes. I had that on my list.
Times.
Part of the baseball bunch. And I remember growing up with that. I think Chad and Greg might be a little too young to remember that with Johnny Bench and starring the famous San Diego Chicken at the time. I don't know how the Padres got a chicken as their mascot, but okay.
And also, I hate to endorse anything from Philly, but the Philly Fanatic is excellent. He's tremendous. You can there's something about him. Like most mascots, goofy, corny costumes, but for some reason, the Philly Fanatic, he's always cool. Everything he does, he comes off cool.
Yeah.
Our buddy Brad is going to be happy about that one.
Yeah, I know. I don't like to acknowledge Philly, and also your team, Mr. Met. Mr. Met seems to be a fairly
he's a good one too.
A good mascot there. It's the mascots that interact with the people mostly.
Unfortunately, he got caught giving the finger after the Mets had like one of their frequent 10-game losing streaks last year, and so he's got to be eliminated from competition.
See, to me, it's the spherical mascots that are the most interesting, the ones that resemble globes.
We're getting a theme here. Chad, what about you?
I went with the teams that have live animal mascots. Now I'm biased because of Uga, the UGA Bulldog, but who is legit like a celebrity on campus, like has his own entourage and everything. But you got Bevo, the Texas Longhorn that almost stomped Uga. You've got the Buffalo in Colorado, and then Auburn, whether it's their mascot, battle cry, whatever that shit is. When the eagle flies in, it is a cool moment, even though the rest of the city can kind of burn to the ground, as far as I'm concerned.
The Bengal Tiger at LSU.
Yeah, that's another one. So I think that's a cool kind of thing where you have sort of the mascots that, like Uga's lineage is so kind of ingrained if you go to UGA. So it's kind of a cool facet of the sports team overall, and it's an actual animal. So there you go.
Conversely, I'll throw this in. What do you think some of the worst mascots are? I mean, that thing in Philadelphia with the Flyers. I forget the damn thing's name, but that
Gritty.
That's the stuff. That's like a Muppet on heroin. What the hell is going on over there? I mean,
I will submit Colonel Reb for Ole Miss.
Yeah, that's a good one. The Braves unveiled Blooper last year, and I think that went to complete maligned. He's basically like a white Philly Fanatic knockoff. Just a generic. Don't know what he is. He's not funny. He's not original in any way. Just a terror, obviously you don't, the Indian running around for the Braves games was, it was time
Chief
for
Nakahoma.
Yes,
Chief Nakahoma.
Yeah, Chief Nakahoma. It was time to turn off of that, but I don't think Blooper was the solution for that.
All right. Well, the next question is, with the XFL and AAF launching as alternatives to the NFL, do you think other sports could and should follow suit? So let's start with you, Chad. Do you think there are other sports could follow, have successful leagues in what is now their off seasons?
I don't think so. I think with the professional sports, for me, you kind of get your fill in the season and then you're done. I know there was some that enjoyed the XFL and the AAF when it was still going on. I didn't watch 1 minute of the AAF. And I would say, if you want more of any respective sport, check out the colleges. I know, for me and Greg, college football, that's my either number one or number two sport that I watch the most of is college football, probably number one. Overall. So, it's kind of a lifeblood down here, and college basketball is big up there. We get a lot of Providence Friars talk on the Place to Be Nation feeds, as you know. And even college baseball. College baseball in the SEC is pretty exciting, has a lot of people that are going to be drafted. So, I'd suggest if you're in the middle of the season and you say, I still want more of the certain sport you're watching professionally to kind of check out the college area and hockey too. I know college hockey has a strong hold as well up in the Northeast with a lot of the Frozen Four, whatever.
Yep.
And I think the cool thing with the hockey is, I mean, you get a lot of teams winning the championships that are not competitive at all in the other sports. So that's nice too.
All right, John, what about you?
I think you need a break. As much as we all love football and the NFL, you still need that break, and especially when the weather's nice in April, May, you don't want to be sitting watching football. I mean, I checked out a couple of the AAF games, but it wasn't like appointment viewing. It was like if I happened to be the tube having me on and just flipping through, and you catch it for a few minutes, but you definitely need that break. And unfortunately, I think the XFL is going to be part 2 is going to be Buster Rooney part 2. And,
yeah,
and this is coming from somebody who supports Vince and the WWE pretty hard. But I hate to be a downer, but I think it's going to be a money loser. It's going to go the way of the AAF. You just need that break, and it's a lower quality football too. It's good. It's going to be good to see like if a couple guys like in the AAF, like Johnny Manziel or something, like sexy guys that panned out. It's good to see how they fare. But even though after the one game he played, the league folded. So that tells you how that went.
All right, Greg, what about you?
I think the answer is no, but my reasoning is a little bit different. I actually still, maybe I'm fighting a losing battle throughout my life, but I've always thought that there is enough of an appetite for football living in the Deep South that I've always thought a spring league could work. Mm-hmm. I just don't think it's ever been done right for football. However, I don't think the other sports should try this because either you already have minor league baseball or basketball with the what is it called, the G League?
Yeah.
But with the NFL, you've never really had a minor league system other than college, and so I've always thought there was something you could do there. But honestly, the other aspect is none of the other sports have enough college talent, top level college talent, to support a separate pro league. In college football, there are stars, legitimate stars that are made in college football, which is more popular now than it's ever been before in the history of the country. And you have stars every year that come out in the draft and don't get drafted, or get drafted and bust out of the league within a year or two. Guys like Johnny Manziel, like Trent Richardson, hell, every Alabama quarterback, guys that build reputations in college as star players, but don't necessarily have what it takes to make it in the NFL. And I think there's a market to watch those guys play. But who in college basketball is really getting left behind? Jimmer Fredette, I guess. But maybe 2 or 3 guys every few years in college hoops are stars that don't get drafted or they get left behind. Whereas in football, it happens more frequently, in my opinion, because of the nature of how popular college football is. So I don't want to see the other leagues do this because I think it dilutes the talent too much and there's not enough to support it.
Yeah. The only thing I would like, there was a league a number of years ago. It was like a winter baseball league. And I think it was like just all recently retired players. I don't know. For me, like I live in the Northeast. I hate the cold weather. So baseball to me always is like a symbol of like warmth. Like as soon as spring training baseball starts, I'm like, oh my God, thank God this freaking winter's over. So I don't know. I just kind of like just enjoy that whole part of it. Yeah, but I agree that there's, because the whole way it's set up with the leagues that, especially baseball, it's like you get out of college and it's like now you got to go to A-ball, then AA, AAA. So it's going to be a while before you make the the MLB, and they're not going to let you play in these other leagues. So I totally see what you're getting, all valid points. All right. So our last question here for the sports segment on episode number 5 is, what are some of your favorite sports video games? So let's start off with Greg. You went last. Let's have you go first this time. What are some of your favorite sports video games?
Oh, man, I love this topic, first of all. So is there a limit on how many I can list?
Just go ahead. Well, how about let's set you at 5, and then we'll come back to you. How's that?
Sure. I'll kind of go chronologically, I think. So Mike Tyson's Punch-Out to me has still never been equaled as a boxing game. Just so much fun. not exactly the simulator that Fight Night was, which is another great game, but a better, but just a more fun experience I can't imagine having in a video game. It's probably the first video game that I loved in my life. So that would be one. I would go to, Madden 05 is kind of, to me, still the standard bearer for Madden games. That was sort of the game that introduced the hit stick. That was the game that introduced kind of the modern idea of defensive strategy that still permeates Madden games, the ability to shift your lines, to shift your linebackers, to adjust coverages. It basically was meant to equalize the defense after the previous year had Michael Vick, who was literally unstoppable on Madden 04. So 05 is still my favorite Madden game to this day. Loved the franchise mode, loved everything about it, the interactivity with the NCAA games. Oh my God, the ability to draft your players off of NCAA was amazing. So yeah, love that game, and that one stands out for the Madden series. NCAA, honestly, any of them. I'll say NCAA 14 because it was the last one. But all the NCAA football games I loved. I especially liked the PS2 ones because they were doing stuff they couldn't get away with now, where you had to monitor your players' academic probation and stuff during Dynasty mode. So like you'd be running a team, right? And so I had a competition with my buddy Thames, and we would create our teams and recruit our players or whatever. And, we had different strategies because if you let enough players slide by with discipline issues and academic issues, you get hammered by the NCAA and hit with sanctions. So I would try to run a clean team, and Thames would try to run a dirty team and then take a better job before he got kicked out. So it just added so much fun. And then I guess I'd close out my list with MVP Baseball 2005. That MVP baseball series was revolutionary because before that we had never had minor league that I knew of, minor league system in console baseball video games. You never had the ability to monitor player happiness. Like if you have a starter and he hasn't played and he hasn't pitched in a while, he starts to get upset with the way he's being run by the organization. He's not getting his pitch counts in. He's not getting a chance to, especially if he's in a contract year. It introduced so many levels of running a baseball team, even down to setting hot dog prices and stuff like that.
Oh, wow.
The level of progression on MVP baseball was so much fun, so immersive. You wanted to have not just a great major league team, but I wanted the Gwinnett Braves to be the dominant team in their league, So it was, to me, those are my favorites. The ones that came to my mind, of course, NBA 2K 13, I think, was the last one I bought. I love that one too. But those are the ones that kind of stand out to me. And I know that was a long list, but I just love so many sports games.
All right, Chad, what about you?
A lot shorter list. I'm not really a huge video game guy, especially in the past decade. So I picked three games. MVP Baseball was one of them. Mm-hmm. And then Madden 04. Greg mentioned it briefly, but I did like that because of the Vic domination. And both MVP and Madden 04 was when I was at UGA. And one of the things I remember the most fondly about going to college there is playing both of those games and Halo 2. So I remember
great soundtracks too.
Yeah, so like our dorm would have sort of total leagues that we would compete against.
Oh yeah, we did the same thing in the 90s. We
were a lot of camaraderie.
Yeah, we were Sega Genesis, but a little before your time. But that's awesome. Hey, what was your third one? Did you say
my third one is when I was a little bit younger, and it's Ken Griffey Jr. Baseball for the Nintendo 64. Still remember how big Griffey's circle was that you could hit. And that was just sort of like the first game I remember doing like a dynasty or full season mode in, and creating a team and running through it the whole season and continuing onward. N64 is probably my favorite console in history if I had to pick one. So that was my favorite sports game from that console.
Awesome. John, what about you? Any sports video games that you love?
Definitely. You guys in your in your laugh-in theater when you were talking about swingers.
Yes.
Playing NHL 94. That brought back memories of NHL 94, especially the Rangers. Chris King was every time he put him on, he'd be the one to get in a fight with the butt. And as far as football, obviously Madden, but Tecmo Bowl was also big.
Good one.
With Bo Jackson.
Yep. And with the EA Sports, the first good baseball game was Tony La Russa baseball.
Yes.
I don't know if anybody remembers. That was
I remember
that was one of my favorites. And in basketball, the EA Sports, it was like the first couple was always like who was in the finals here before. It was like either Bulls. One was like Bulls Lakers and
Bulls versus Blazers. I remember.
Yeah, man, Bulls Blazers, right? And NBA and then NBA Jam, of course. That was actually one of the games. It was big on the arcade first, and then they translated it to the to video, and it worked out pretty well. It was you didn't think it would be as good as in the arcade, but it was that was excellent too.
Yeah, I remember On Fire. I mean, I used to play with the I used to use the Orlando Magic when I played NBA Jam because I was Shaq and Scott Skiles. So you had the perfect complement. You had Skiles for the 3-pointers, and then Shaq just dominated on the inside, which I love. Yeah, EA was the shit for like the longest time before 2K came around. Like when the Sega Genesis came around, it was like EA or nothing. I remember.
They even had even Fight for Soccer. They even made a soccer game, which was entertaining too.
Yeah, there was a college basketball.
They managed to make soccer exciting.
Yeah, we had they had a college football game I actually own. I have it somewhere I still have my Sega Genesis, and it was they didn't have they couldn't name any of the teams or any of the players, so it was just like whatever town they were located in, that was the team's name. It was fun. The NBA Jam was great. I mean, there's some others, like there was I don't know if you guys ever played Arch Rivals. I don't know if you remember that game. It was like basically it was more about punching your opponents in basketball than it was in that. And then there was that futuristic football game. It was like Cyberball or whatever, 2044 or something. I'm kind of thinking out of the box. But yeah, the whole early 90s, like 92, 93, 94, NHL on the Sega. We used to do tournaments every Saturday in the dorm. I drafted low, so I didn't get my Rangers, but I got the LA Kings. So that was the Gretzky-Gartner years. And then All-Star. I used to love All-Star Baseball on the original Xbox. I remember playing that when my kids were very little. Those late nights, sitting up with a little baby and on one arm and the the controller in the other kind of thing, and trying to be as quiet as you can but still maintain to play a game. The good old days. Awesome. Any other ones, Greg? I know you had a large list. Yeah, any others you want to throw out there before we go to break?
There was a game called Knockout Kings back on the PlayStation 1, I think it was, maybe PlayStation 2, that was a really fun boxing game. And the THQ UFC games, UFC 2009, 10, and UFC 3, were all really fun and really good, and I think still haven't really been matched for gameplay for MMA fans. So those would be my other ones I wanted to throw love to.
Awesome. Great. Well, awesome sports segment, guys. Great job all around. We had a nice gamut, if you will, of opinions, and everybody gave some great ones, some valid points. So we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to move on to the pop culture segment here on Great Debate number 5 with Greg Phillips, Chad Campbell, and J. Arsenio D'Amato. I'm Andy Atherton. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
Place to Be Nations, JT Rosero and Chad Campbell here. We want to let you know that we have over 24 podcasts available on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, and PlaceToBeNation.com. We now offer them to you on 2 great feeds. On the Place to Be Nation wrestling feed, we dive into topics running the gamut from today's WWE to the glory days of yesteryear and the ins and outs of the territory days. In addition to our full-length shows, we also deliver to you special pod blasts on topics old and new.
The Place to Be Nation Pop feed is a veritable treasure trove of great content, offering tremendous shows covering the land of movies, television, life, comics, and sports
brought to you by the most knowledgeable and insightful folks in the podcast world.
You can find all of these current shows, plus archives of our previous podcasts over the past 8 years as well by subscribing to our feeds on iTunes. And while there, be sure to rate and leave feedback as well. All of these shows, plus others available at PlayStation.com, where we cover pro wrestling, sports, movies, comics, plus in-depth stretch projects and more. Be sure to support our site by using www.placetobenation.com/Amazon while doing your online shopping. And be sure to join us at our forum at Bigelow34.proboards.com for all sorts of wrestling, sports, and pop culture discussion each and every day where you can make your voice heard. We also want to thank our friends at Bonehead's Wing Bar, ProWrestlingOnly.com, and TheHistoryOfWrestling.com. Be sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Tumblr as well. PlayStation.com, the only place to be in your pop culture world.
Place to be Nation, welcome back to episode 5 of The Great Debate. I'm Andy Atherton, and I'm here with Greg Phillips, Chad Campbell, and J. Arsenio D'Amato, and we're going to move into our pop culture segment. But first, let's talk about what's going on here at Place to be Nation. Lots going on. It's a busy week on the pop feed, which we are listening to us on right now. A little something for everybody here. First off, let's go, Russell Sellers and his co-host Sam, they dish about the classic Empire Records and a brand new 90s to Nothing over on This Much Talkin' Pop. Jenny and Tim welcome Justin Rosero, JT, to relive the magic of WrestleMania weekend in New York City. A lot of fun hanging out with Justin and Jenny and Mr. D'Amato. So I can't wait to listen to this one just to hear what they do remember of the weekend, so to speak. And then a new Marvel Age Master.
Spoiler, not much.
Yeah. One of my favorite lines of the weekend, Stacy, our lovely friend from Australia, brought in Tim Tams for all of us to partake in at the tailgate. And at one point, somebody didn't want to go get food because it was too far a walk. And I said, wait, there's Tim Tams. Give me them fucking Tim Tams. Also, the world's worst babysitter, having my son and Aaron, George's son, go around giving nut shots to as many guys as they can using the Nerf football I brought. So, check out that show, and I'm sure those stories will be brought up. But you got that here, only on The Great Debate. And then also we had a Marvel Age Masterclass drop with Mr. Ben Morris and Russell Sellers talk about the first half of 1970. The NBA guys, Adam and Andrew, deliver in-depth playoff previews in a dual offering of the NBA Team podcast. And then back to Conversation Comics with the manager, Todd Weber, and Mr. Tim Capel look at the Uncanny X-Men number 136 and much, much more. Greg, you and your partner, Nick, on the Hard Traveling Fanboys, you reviewed Shazam, right? The brand new motion picture. Real quick, what'd you think of Shazam? I saw it a couple days ago with my kids.
I loved it. It was better than I expected it would be, and I had pretty high hopes for it. So I walked away really impressed. I'm hoping to see a lot more from that franchise.
Yeah, I liked it. It was a little middling at times for me. I thought it did drag a couple of it. But I listened to a few different movie podcasts, and one of the best ways to just sum up that movie in like a very small sentence, it's the greatest American hero meets Big. That's kind of the best thing, and I really did love how the marketing team, for the most part, showed restraint, because there was a couple of things that happened that I had no clue were going to happen, and I quite enjoyed not knowing that ahead of time. That's one thing about these movies now. Things are leaking, toys, Legos. I fucking hate Legos for ruining things all the time. With these, you walk past the toy aisle and. There you go. Giant Man's going to be in the airport scene in Captain America Civil War because of this fucking Lego set that came out 2 months before the movie. So I'm really appreciative I didn't know that. So, yeah, and you got a lot more Shazam coming up this month over on HTF?
We got one more episode. We just recorded it last night, actually. It's going to be dropping later this week, and that'll wrap up Shazam month. And this one's going to be a review of the classic 1994 graphic novel, The Power of Shazam by Jerry Ordway. It kind of redefined Captain Marvel for a modern era. So look for that. The DC Captain Marvel, I should be clear.
Okay.
That's a bit of a point of confusion. So,
yes, make sure we don't confuse the non-comics people that may want to come over and check it out. Mr. D'Amato, you and the Cowboy were back in the saddle with a new This Week in Sports, and you caught up on everything since the Super Bowl. Great to have you back on the talking in your comfort zone, your wheelhouse, the world of sports. So what can we expect from from This Week in Sports coming up?
Well, you can expect more shitty predictions, just like in the NFL. I predicted the lame ass Falcons to make the Super Bowl, and they shit the bed. So, and I promptly picked the Sixers to go to the NBA Finals, and they lost their first game of the playoffs. So you could make fun of my lousy predictions because that's what everybody likes. Nobody remembers when you actually get one right. They just like to break balls. So I'm the Francesa of the PTBN. That's me.
Mike, you're way off base, man. Mike, way off base. I got to tell you, dog, I don't know what you're talking about. That's my best Mike and the Mad Dog impression, if I can. And then the manager, Todd Weber, welcome JT to Binge Please as they talk the Netflix Marvel Universe and Daredevil Season 1. I got stuck at Defenders, I think episode 1, and I haven't gone back, so maybe one day. And then also on the last episode of Laugh-In Theater, I had the manager, Todd Weber, on, and we talked Swingers, which Mr. D'Amato mentioned earlier. That was a great episode. First time I ever got to talk to Todd. It was a lot of fun. It was a late-night record for me, being he is on the other side of the country, but it was well worth staying up late to get to talk a movie that has so much music and L.A. culture in it with somebody like Todd, who that's his wheelhouse, and I learned some things by him being on that show. And also, these three gentlemen are all going to be future guests on Laugh-In Theater. Not going to disclose what movies they picked, but stay tuned and you will hear all these guys have their own episodes, and we're going to have a lot of fun. People seem to really enjoy it. And the next episode that should be dropping probably around the same time, within a few days, this one, is Mr. Tim Capel joined me for Ghostbusters. That was a real treat, I got to tell you. It was a lot of laughs, and I hope you guys all enjoy it. And then over on Looking Forward, Looking Back, one of my shows, I'm doing a summer movie wager based on how well you think you can predict this summer's movie releases we'll do at the domestic box office. So basically just pick your top 10 movies in order of domestic gross. Then you got to throw in 3 wildcard picks that may make the top 10. And also your biggest bomb for a bonus. That's, based on budget, gross, all that stuff. And send your picks to lflbpop@gmail.com by Monday, April 22nd. Any movie that is released on or after April 26th, basically Endgame, is eligible for the tally ending on Labor Day, September 2nd. The winner of the contest gets to be on a future episode of Laugh-In Theater and pick the comedy movie of their choosing. Also, with the people that are on the show, what we're going to do is, for those of us, our little contest within us, whoever wins gets to pick one movie. It doesn't matter the genre, doesn't matter what it is. And all of us on the show, scheduling permitted, will be on for a live watch all together. So, there's a little stakes there. Also, though, over on the wrestling feed, we have a brand new show. In the premiere episode of Making Towns with Friends, Steve and Rich explore what could have been if Money in the Bank match had occurred at every WrestleMania since inception. So go check it out for the debut episode of a brand new show. And then over on the Place to Be podcast, JT and Scott were joined by Todd Weber for episode 517 as they broke down the March 1989 MSG House show leading into, I believe it's WrestleMania 5 is their big show coming up. And also, Chad, you and Justin return with a brand new Wrestling Warzone as you finish off 1995 with a discussion about Starrcade. Anything you can tell us about what's going on over there in the Wrestling Warzone?
Dusty's commentary was a highlight of Starrcade. A world-renowned performance for him, and the Warzone's heating up. Our next episode will be the January 1st, 1996 Raw and Nitros, where you get the first Billionaire Ted skit and the Raw Bowl. So a lot going into 1996, where I really think you start seeing more shots taken at the opposition.
Awesome. Also, don't forget to check out our social media pages and the message board at www.bigelow34.proboards.com for information on joining our greatest WWE pay-per-view and TV match ever project. Get in on the conversation today and start researching your list. And also stop by PlaceToBeNation.com. Things are getting back up and running with plenty of projects and reviews to come. Content picking up in the days and weeks ahead. And also, I think this is going up once the Candy Tournament is over. I want to thank everyone for participating in the Candy Tournament. I don't know who wins at this moment in time, but our final four is Kit Kat, Reese's Peanut Butter Cups, Jolly Ranchers, and Starburst. So good luck to all four. We all know it's going to be Peanut Butter Cups, but it was a lot of fun, and we had a great participation, and it was a great model for our polls and our tournaments. So we're going to be doing it more, where we're going to have a Facebook page just for our tournaments. The only bad thing is that Facebook only allows you to do head-to-head matchups, so they could be things could take a little while, but up and running. We have more tournaments planned. A brand new one should be starting around Memorial Day, June 1st, and should go the whole summer. And it's kind of a reboot, if you will, of a tournament from the past that kind of got crapped on by bots, I guess, if you will. So we're going to take a trip back in time and find out some of your favorite songs from a decade in the past that many of us remember fondly. So stay tuned, and that page will be live hopefully in the next few weeks. And once again, thank you, everybody. You participated in the Canning Tournament. It was a great success because of you. Place to be Nation. All right, let's move on to the, while we're here, the great debate, and on to our pop culture segment questions. Now, with Disney doing live-action remakes of their animated classics, give me one that you'd like to see and one that you hope that they never do. Chad, we're going to start with you. What do you say? Give me one animated movie you want to see remake live, quote unquote, because it's all CG, and then give me one that you want to never see them do.
I went with the one I'd like to see is Pinocchio. I think that would be, and I know that's kind of been rumored or whatever, maybe with Tom Hanks as Geppetto or whatever, but it hasn't been confirmed. And I'm excited about that because I do think there's a lot of interesting avenues you could adapt with that. I've seen stage productions of Pinocchio and thinks it comes off well in that arena as well. And I think even kind of lesser known characters in Pinocchio like Stromboli or whatever could really, they could be livened up if you had a really exquisite actor performing those. So I think that would just be a really well done movie. I think the casting of Pinocchio would be pivotal because I do think one of the things with Pinocchio that's kind of interesting is it can fall into the fallacy, and I've seen that with the stage productions where, the main title character of the whole show is one of the most least interesting characters or one of the least inexperienced actors just because of the age range you have to go with for that character. But I think if done correctly and if they pick the right person to play Pinocchio, it could be a success.
Awesome. And what's one you don't want to see them do?
I think it could be successful, but I picked Peter Pan, and only because I think we've seen with like Hook and Returning to Neverland. We've seen it tried a couple times, and I understand the narrative that you may want Disney to do it right, but I enjoy Hook as a movie a good bit, and I'm just not really angling to see another live action rendition of the Peter Pan universe at this time.
All right. Yeah, I understand that. It's a little, Peter Pan's one of those things like, all right, we got it. It's like Three Musketeers. It's like all those other movies. Like, enough is enough already, people. All right. So, Greg, what about you? What do you say about these Disney live action remakes?
So, full disclosure, I don't actually want to see any of them. I like the animated. I think animation ages better than live action, so I don't think there's any reason to remake these classic animated films that stand as the hard work of all of the men and women that went into them on their own. Like, I think The Lion King is the pinnacle of Disney filmmaking, for me anyway. Mm-hmm. So I'm not really looking forward to any of these, but if I had to pick one to be remade, I would pick one I would pick one that I think can be done well and has been done well. And so I went with The Sword and the Stone because I'm a sucker for Arthurian legend. We've seen it a bunch, but we haven't seen it recently except for those crappy, dark and gritty King Arthur movies that I'm not interested in. I think one that's done in the way of this classic animated film, The Sword and the Stone, would be up my alley. I like that setting. I like the idea. Hell, get Sean Connery to reprise his role as King Arthur from First Night. Yay, make it happen.
There you go. You totally stole mine. It's okay. You're a guest. You're allowed.
So, and it's also one of my favorite Disney movies.
It is. It's well done.
As far as one that I don't want to see remade, just because it would be incredibly creepy if you did this in live action, Lady and the Tramp. I don't need to see a live action Lady and the Tramp movie with digitally manipulated dogs making out. So,
unfortunately, they are going to do that for Disney Plus. So, yeah, I agree with you, Greg, that like most of these animated movies are masterpieces and should not be touched. But Disney is this huge monster that has all this IP, and they're going to do it because you know what? They're making money. You know, Lion King does look kind of cool. Aladdin, I'm just going to go see it because I'm curious more about. I didn't see the Cinderella remake. I saw bits and pieces of the Alice in Wonderland movies. So I still want to see Dumbo because from what I understand, that the Dumbo animated movie is barely the first half of the movie because that's only a 63-minute animated movie, that first Dumbo, the original. So I was kind of curious.
Yeah, I would say Dumbo's about 60% of the animated movie, and then 40% original. It's so. I mean, to me, like I think of these live action ones, I would say for my favorite's been Jungle Book. That's the only one that I think compares relatively favorably to the animated version. The other ones, I mean, like Beauty and the Beast was pretty much a shot-by-shot rendition of the animated one, and I just think the animated version's so classic that it couldn't compare.
Yeah. John, what about you? Got any interest in these Disney remakes?
Definitely. Like Chad, I definitely want to see Pinocchio, but with a different spin on it, because with Disney Plus coming, they're going to need to compete with Netflix and have some kind of adult-type content. So Pinocchio would have to be an R-rated version, and it's not his nose that grows. In order to please the ladies, it would have to be Pinocchio or Pistrocchio. In order to perform with the ladies, he would have to tell a lot of lies.
Pistrocchio. That's got to be one of the greatest nicknames of all time.
I'm sorry, guys. I behaved all night because I'm with a couple Southern gentlemen, but I had to go left sooner or later.
That's okay.
I know for a moment I didn't know if you were John D'Amato or Jennifer Smith.
Oh, Lord. For me, Sword in the Stone was one. Princess and the Frog. Although I don't know how they could do a trumpet-playing alligator in live action, but, you know, you never know what could happen. We had alligators wearing suits in Shazam. Also, one that I don't want to see them remake, Emperor's New Groove. Only for some reason, I just have never seen it all the way through, so I don't know how they could do it, if they could do it. But, all right.
Yeah,
cool.
the one I don't want to see is Sleeping Beauty, because in this day and age, she'd probably wake up and say "Me Too," or she'd probably say that the prince roofied me, the prince Cosby'd me, or something. So it would just be too many connotations of sleeping, taken advantage of. So I don't want to see that.
Awesome. All right, we're going to move on to Star versus Star, and our stars this episode is Emma Stone versus Scarlett Johansson. So we're going to start with Greg. Give us a comparison, Emma Stone versus Scarlett Johansson, on, like, you know, who has had the better career, who makes the better choices, the better actress. What do you say?
Well, you know, it's kind of, I haven't seen as much of Emma Stone's stuff. I mean, I think there's a lot of comparisons to make here, but I think Scarlett Johansson is kind of an easy pick for me because, you know, whether you have a Lost in Translation, which is, you know, a performance in a movie that holds up over time. Whether you have her, she certainly has the better superhero movies to her name.
Yes.
With the Avengers versus Amazing Spider-Man. And if we're going in terms of aesthetics, I would lean her way as well. So for me, I haven't seen enough of Emma Stone's catalog, you know, her more indie movies and things like that to really judge her for sure, but I know that Scarlett Johansson's a hell of an actress. She's had a lot of great roles, and yeah, she would be my slam dunk pick in this category.
All right, John, what about you, Scarlett Johansson or Emma Stone?
Not a huge fan of either of these. I can only refer to one of my favorites of all time, which is Superbad, and Emma Stone was okay in that, so I have to lean towards her.
Mm-hmm. All right. Chad, what about you?
That's almost exactly the same reason I would pick Emma Stone as well. Yeah, I mean, not too familiar with either as well. I did like Emma Stone also in La La Land. That movie was pretentious at points, but also enjoyable at other points, and she was pleasant in that. So, yeah, I would go Emma Stone here.
All right. My way of kind of explaining it is Emma Stone is more of an actress and Scarlett Johansson is more of a movie star, I would say. Like, for Emma Stone, like, I love her roles like Easy A, Birdman, Superbad, of course, is up there. Even that really crappy Anna Faris vehicle, The House Bunny. Emma Stone's in that movie, actually. She plays like kind of like a dorky sorority girl who gets, tarted up towards the end. But she's a lot of fun. And Scarlett Johansson is no slouch, don't get me wrong. With Lost in Translation, with, other movies like I think Her, she was the voice in, and the aforementioned Jungle Book. She, I believe, was Ka, the snake. So she did a good job there. And, and as great as Black Widow, I'm really looking forward to the Black Widow movie. For me, I'd have to say, personally, it's a tie. Like, I think we'll see Emma Stone in a superhero movie again before long, though. I think she, I don't know who she'll play, but I think eventually everybody's going to be in a superhero movie one time in their career, all of Hollywood.
Clint Eastwood will be in a superhero movie before he goes.
There you go. Okay, so I'm going to start with, we're going to start R-rated comedies. Got to start with John D'Amato. So how come Hollywood has had a difficult time with making successful R-rated comedies? You only see like one every year or every couple of years. And what could be the reason why?
I think it's just the money issue that the superhero movies that kind of dominate in the box office can easily make money overseas, and comedies are really kind of limited as to their profitability within the States, because our humor doesn't really translate to overseas money. I think that's number one. And number two is just with the Netflix, and it's more comfortable to watch movies at home. The comedies are more more enjoyed, online or in the comfort of your home, where the really the only things that the only big movies that get people to the theaters are the big Star Wars, the big superhero, and the kids movies, because parents got to get their kids to take them somewhere and get them out the house. So really, comedies are kind of just meant to to be enjoyed at home. There's really in this era there's really not anything, not anyone coming up with anything that's going to be like, to make people go out to the theaters to see a comedy. Yeah.
Greg, what about you? How come there's such a difficult time having successful R-rated comedies?
Well, I think he hit on a lot of great points, especially regarding the finances and things of that, which the overseas money is a great point. I also think that a lot of the modern sort of edgy comics kind of lean more into the edginess being the joke versus the joke being accentuated by the edginess. So you get movies that are kind of like built so much on, hey, look, it's a dude's dick, versus why is that funny other than the fact that it's just a dick. So, I also think that there aren't a lot. There's, we grew up in the heyday of the great R-rated comedy, right? The 80s, the 90s. There's not an Eddie Murphy running around right now. There aren't many anyway. Yeah. And also we have to address that style of comedy, that Eddie Murphy raw style of comedy, is not, in vogue today. Like, people are uncomfortable with a lot of jokes these days. And so, I think you see more of a sort of, the good comedies these days tend to be the more subdued but kind of highbrow comedies. And so I think that's an issue as well, because when I think about like successful stand-ups right now, I think of like John Mulaney and people like that are not really doing a blue set, so to speak.
Yeah. I agree. Chad, what about you? What do you say about this?
Yeah, I don't have much more to add. I mean, I think the sensibilities really play a major part in that, because even that's something that you saw even like a decade ago with a movie like Wedding Crashers, which was a big success. Now, I mean, there's a lot going into that with the sensibilities of, like, these two guys that basically lied and took advantage of women. I mean, that's a movie that wouldn't get made today. And then there's a lot of kind of retrospective, well, exactly how funny was something like that that you can kind of go back and analyze on a ethics level. But I think that's a lot that goes into whether a movie gets greenlighted or not now.
Yeah.
That whole discussion.
Yeah, whether it's appropriate, whether it'll translate.
Just the process, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the problem, too, is I think in Hollywood, there's not a lot of mid-budget. You don't see those 50, those actually more like $20 to $30 million range, usually what comedies are. And a lot of times they're usually like lightning in a bottle. Like you're There's Something About Mary, you're The Hangover, or Bridesmaids, and then they just try to replicate it, and it just doesn't. For every Bridesmaids, there's a Rough Night or Bachelorette, and then for like The Hangover, they tried to do the sequels, which had some okay parts of them, but really just never caught the same thing as the original. And There's Something About Mary. There's no way you could replicate that. I actually remember going to see that twice in the theater because I missed so many jokes because of everybody laughing so hard the first time that it was like, what the hell was the next joke? Because the Fairley Brothers, sometimes it's like boom, boom, boom. And it's like, okay, something funny else happened, but I don't know what the hell. So, and you don't see like the Fairley Brothers or somebody that's just making comedies after comedy after comedy these days. Everybody's branching out and doing different things. Like you never thought you'd see Peter Farrelly on the stage for an Oscars, but he was one of the producers of Green Book, which was kind of funny. All right. So, Greg, we're going to start with you for the next one. What's a TV show that you feel ended a season or two too early?
So, for me, it's got to be one of two. And so I'll go with one and see if somebody else names the other one. The one that I'm going with is a show called Human Target, which was on the Fox channel a few years ago, several years ago at this point. Mm-hmm. It was a comic book show based on a DC Comics property that kind of did its own thing with the property. It wasn't really based on any specific comics runs. And it was about this character, Christopher Chance, who took the place of prominent figures that might have been targeted for assassination or things like that. And he had kind of a little team that included Jackie Earle Haley as a character named Guerrero, and what's that actor's name? Anyway, I can't remember the other guy.
Kyle McBride, right?
Yes, him. And they had some of the best chemistry that I've ever seen on like an action show like that. And it had far and away, to this day, my favorite action on a network TV show that I've ever seen. It was like watching a movie every week in terms of the action, the choreography, which is probably one of the reasons it got canceled. I assume it was fairly expensive to produce because of the choreography involved. But they had great fight scenes, strong characters. Mark Paul Valley was the lead as Christopher Chance, and he was outstanding. And it was actually my favorite show while it was on. And they only got 2 seasons, unfortunately. And even that, the second season had a lot of network interference that kind of changed the show, in my opinion, for the worse. But it was still great. It was still a great show. It just lost a little bit of the edge from the first season. But, it didn't get a chance to go beyond it. I thought there were a lot of stories left to tell. If anybody's a Walking Dead fan, the character of Morgan, the guy that plays Morgan on The Walking Dead, was the primary villain on Human Target. And
really?
He was amazing. He was amazing.
I love Lenny James. He's awesome.
Yeah, great actor.
Awesome. John, what about you? What's a TV show that you felt ended a little too early?
I'm not sure if people are familiar with this, but it was a HBO animated series. It only lasted 3 seasons. Called Life and Times of Tim.
I've heard of it. I never really watched it.
It is hilarious. Yes, it is hilarious. I can't find. I could find hardly anybody that watched it. It was slept on. Nick Kroll did some of the voices. A lot of famous comedians and comic actors did voices. It was an inappropriate animated comedy, R-rated, definitely hilarious, and it was slept on. And it's just disappointed when like you're one of the few that likes a show, but it's very funny. Inappropriate, the very first episode, this guy's going to meet his fiance's parents, and he winds up meeting a hooker, and it's just all sorts of shenanigans ensue, and inappropriate, but definitely hilarious, worth checking out.
Awesome. I'm sorry that is that on the HBO Go now or something people should check?
Definitely, yeah. you can find it on there. Sure.
All right, cool. Chad, what about you? What's a TV show?
I went with another HBO show, and it's one that had a good run. Actually had 56 episodes, which is a long run, but I went with Boardwalk Empire.
Oh.
And the reason I went with that is I thought that they were really ramping up, kind of showing the rise of Capone and kind of the Chicago side of the the 30s and stuff, moving away from the Atlantic City side. Which, if you know the premise of the show, that it's mostly about Nucky Thompson, then you say, okay, well, they're not really going to move towards the Chicago gangster side full bore. But if you watch the show front to back, not getting spoilerish, but they were not adverse to having some kind of shocking character changes and stuff happening with that show where it was conceivable. And I really was invested in that. And then they announced that, they were only going to do one more season, and it was 8 episodes instead of 12. And I think that final season, they didn't have enough time to kind of wrap things up tidily enough. And you sort of didn't see all these people that I'd become invested in. You didn't see them at all. And then you ended up having seasons like with Bobby Cannavale's character, who, he played a great character for his season, but it was kind of a one-season character arc, and you're like, well, I wish we just spent more time with all these other characters that, were over the course of the series if I knew it would have ended this abruptly. I just think that show, if you'd have had even 6-7 seasons, it had the potential to be one of my favorite shows of all time. And right now I just put it as a very, very good show, but one that really could have been great and in the Pantheon.
Yeah,
totally agree.
I heard a lot about it from. I didn't watch it. I don't get invested. I try to pick and choose, and from what I understand, it's a really good show. My buddy, my best friend Scott, loved it because he loves period pieces. 2, he loves anything that has to do with crime or the mafia or whatever. So I heard really good things about that, and he was greatly disappointed when that show ended. I went with.
And it's also.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. It was also. No. I just wanted to add. Bobby Cannavale dominated that season. Drip Rossetti. He just chewed up every scene he was in. He was amazing. It was also unique because Steve Buscemi got to play like a studly gangster. Banging hot chicks. Right. The most unlikely. Sex symbol and protagonist of the series ever. But it was also great, Chaz. That's a good pick.
Yeah.
And I only watched the first 2 seasons. I need to go back and revisit it. I left because my favorite character got killed off at the end of season 2. And I really need to go back and rewatch the whole series.
And that scene is why, Greg, I say it was conceivable that they could have. You could have seen going into season 5 or 6, they could have just done away with Nucky and went with a Chicago angle because they were willing to kill off that character at the end of season 2, which was shocking.
Very shocking. Nobody was safe. Nobody was safe.
Right.
Yeah.
I kind of love shows like that when it's you just don't know what's going to happen. I actually went with a show I might have talked about before. One of my Angel, the spinoff of Buffy. Which, you have to give, that's a show that you have to give a chance if you want to. Once it gets past the first 6 or 8 episodes of season 1, it really picks up. The problem was that they found out the show was ending they only had a handful of episodes left to shoot. And, they really needed another season to kind of wrap everything up. It was kind of an accelerated, a lot going on. And that I'm also going to throw in the comedy Happy Endings, which was really, really funny. And
oh yeah, that's a good one too.
I love that show. And then a lot of quotable lines. I still to this day will pass a coworker and we'll quote lines to each other sometimes. We're do you know how hard it is to get slut out of Egyptian cotton? Come on, really? And then going back, John D'Amato probably remembers this show, one of the early Fox shows, Herman's Head. Remember that show, John?
I wasn't a fan.
No?
I wasn't a fan. So,
that was college for me. It was always on after Married with Children. So I thought that was a funny one out there that could have kept going for a little while. But
I wanted to throw a little love to the show Ed, if anybody watched that, from NBC back in the early 2000s.
That's on my list of you talk about you have Shameless for movies. That's one of my Shame TV show lists because I've heard nothing but good things about Ed.
Well, unfortunately, there's no way to watch it, so they've never released it on DVD.
Oh, it's not on Hulu or anything? Oh, well, wait, wishful thinking? What day?
Yeah, no, I mean, you think you can find it on YouTube maybe, but they've never released it because of music rights issues. So.
Is Human Target streaming anywhere?
Yeah, actually, people can. The Human Target is streaming on the DCU app. Actually, they've got the whole show up there in HD and everything. So
yeah, that was a really good show. I would quickly shout out a show called Life. It was also on NBC. Mm-hmm. That was a really good show as well. That didn't get much of a run or much love, but was a good show that, I think now is kind of broken out because you had, what is his name? He was on Homeland. Now he's on Billions. It's going to kill me. It'll come to me. But Damian Lewis. He was
Damian Lewis.
In that show, yes. So he did a great job in that show. That was one I watched right around the time I got married. We were watching that show a lot. I think it ran for 2 seasons.
Yeah, there was a 1-season show. I remember Studio 60 on the Sunset Strip. I don't know if you guys.
Yeah.
I actually liked that show, even though it was Aaron Sorkin and overwritten, but I actually did enjoy it because I love it was Matthew Perry and it was Bradley Whitford, I believe. And, it was just, I thought it was a lot of fun. That was also, who's on that show? The guy who plays Howard on Big Bang Theory. I guess, I think Big Bang Theory ended right after the show got canceled. So who knows what could have happened over there. All right, Chad, we're going to start with you. Give me some examples of your favorite usage of popular music in movies.
So for me, this kind of lives and dies with 2 directors. One is Quentin Tarantino. Mm-hmm. And he's kind of got away from this with his last few movies. I know with his latest one, talking about the Sharon Tate, Charles Manson, that whole thing, that hopefully he'll come back to that. But I think, especially in his earlier movies like Reservoir Dogs and Pulp Fiction, he did a great job of picking sort of recognizable songs. I think Stuck in the Middle with You is probably the easiest example you can use. But even like Jungle Boogie and Pulp Fiction and Miserlou, like something you've heard before and it's familiar, but once you see it in the context of his movies, anytime I hear that song, I think of the specific scene of the movie, and I think that's a testament to the way he used it within the movie to kind of build atmosphere and to develop the scene overall. The only other example that I thought of right offhand was Martin Scorsese with the Rolling Stones, kind of the Gimme Shelter and the Layla montage during Goodfellas. That's very memorable as well. So I think Scorsese utilizes even something like Shipping Up to Boston and The Departed, when you see like Leonardo DiCaprio doing his like push-ups in prison or whatever as the title credits run. That's something that's memorable that I can just think of offhand.
All right, cool. John, what about you?
Kudos to Chad on the Goodfellas, definitely. When they showed Frankie Carbone's frozen body, it took him 48 hours just for the body to thaw out. As Layla's playing such a beautiful song, and they're showing how all the people got whacked. That's just classic. Yeah, that was one of my choices too. But my number one is Boogie Nights.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. Just I wouldn't know where to start. I mean, we could go through a whole podcast on the classic use of the music in Boogie Nights, but just if you haven't seen it, the drug deal at Rahad Jackson's place.
Yes.
These 3 guys, these 3 schlubs are all coked out of their brain, and they got this brilliant idea to, for those that haven't seen it, or refresh it, they got a brilliant idea to rob this major drug dealer, Rahad Jackson. And this guy's a piece of work. Alfred Molina plays him, and he's got a lot going on. He's waving a gun around. He's got a little Chinese boyfriend throwing firecrackers at him in his underwear. It's just the scene is just so real. But as he's doing all this, he's playing. He's got a tape going with Sister Christian from Night Ranger and Jesse's Girl, and as he's freaking out, he's singing along to the songs. It really gave Sister Christian, Night Ranger, an extra boost, and he's also Jesse's Girl. And there's just a lot of great scenes. At the end, they play "God Only Knows" by the Beach Boys, such a beautiful song, and they show how everybody in the movie, pretty much everybody, made something of their lives, and they show the success stories. But also, while there's a beautiful song, they also show the colonel who went to jail for child molestation.
Yeah.
They show him getting his ass kicked while "God Only Knows" plays, and then of course the iconic scene at the end when Dirk Diggler gets his stuff together and he's making his big comeback for the movie, and he whips out his schwanz, and ELO's "It's a Living" thing plays right over it. It's just a beautiful thing.
All right, Craig, what about you?
I would go.
How can you follow Schlantz?
I mean, there's no way to follow that. Let's be honest. I would go with the Layla coda at the end of Goodfellas. Mm-hmm. That beautiful Jim Gordon end of Layla. Of all the parts of Layla to pick that part, the soothing sort of outro to this brilliant song by Derek and the Dominoes to go over top of that great film. Was just outstanding. Taxi Driver with Jackson Browne's "Late for the Sky." Mm-hmm. That comes to mind. For me, Tommy Boy did a great job with the music in that movie. It's inseparable for me. Every time I hear "It's the End of the World,"
sorry. Yes. I like the part after they beat the shit out of each other in the restaurant. It's like, I'm sorry. So sorry.
And she's like, God, what happened to your face? I knew it.
Not here. But right
around here, it's the end of the world as we know it. Every time I hear that song, I think about them singing it in the car. Of course, the Carpenters song of like they're looking at each other, they're like,
"Tell me you love me, that's baby."
Yeah. Well, I don't want to listen to this. Why don't you change it? No, you change it. I'm not going to change it. And then it flashes forward, and they're like, "Don't you remember you told me you love me, baby?"
Yes. Beautiful. That's a beautiful choice.
A future Laughing Theater movie that somebody has picked.
Yes, outstanding stuff. And then for me, I don't even know if you would classify this as a popular song necessarily, but Austin Powers, anytime they involve Burt Bacharach in the film, is an automatic win for me.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Burt
Bacharach.
Awesome. I went with stuff like I Will Survive in The Replacements, which is a very underrated football movie, but just to have them singing it in the jail cell, and then at the end they replay it at the end. Also, Bad Girls is really funny with these stripper cheerleaders going on. American Pie 2. When Smooth Criminal starts playing, I think that's a really hysterical music choice right there. Also, I'm going to go with James Gunn superhero movies because the opening credit scene for the first Guardians of the Galaxy is one of my favorites of all time. Just the way Chris Pratt, Star-Lord, is just jumping around to every Red Bones, Come and Get Your Love. And then, then it's in the second Guardians of the Galaxy, it's ELO's, what is it, Mr. Can't remember off the top of my head.
Mr. Blue Sky
with Baby Groot just dancing around while the rest of the Guardians are fighting that monster. And then even in Avengers Infinity War, when they come into Rubber Band Man, they're all just sitting there dancing.
Awesome.
Yeah, so awesome. Anybody got any others that may?
I can't believe nobody has mentioned Bohemian Rhapsody in Wayne's World.
Oh yes, well come on, that was actually on the radio today in the car. Yes, that is. It's like so many of those older songs, and now you just associate it with like those songs in Tommy Boy. There's certain songs you just can't hear without now picturing that movie in your head. So awesome picks.
I recently had to explain to somebody that the song "Live and Let Die" was written specifically for the James Bond movie and wasn't used in the movie from a previous album. So that just shows you how these movies sort of get ingrained in our consciousness.
Oh yeah, I mean, like what is it? Probably on 90s Nothing talked about this. Paradise City and what was it called? What's that? Can't Hardly Wait. So Yeah, there's also, I think, Mandy, I think, was in that movie. Yeah, there's just certain songs, they just pop in there. Like, it's just, you're just instantly placed to that movie. Like Build Me Up Buttercup for the end credits of There's Something About Mary.
Yep. Can't Take My Eyes Off You in 10 Things I Hate About You.
Yes. Yes, and then they try to do it in another teen movie with Janie's Got a Gun. All right. Awesome job, guys. That's going to bring it into our pop culture segment, but you guys are not off the hook. We're going to do our rapid fire round questions now. These are going to be on the Facebook page coming up after the show drops, so you'll get your chance out there, all you listeners, to give your pick on these things. So it's going to be this or that questions. We're going to go around the horn with 10 questions, and we're going to start with you, Greg. The Flintstones or the Jetsons?
Flintstones.
All right. Chad? Did we lose Chad? Chad, you still with us?
I'm here.
All right.
Yeah, I'm here. I was waiting.
All right, Flintstones or Jetsons, Chad?
Oh, we're doing the same. Okay, yeah, I'm Flintstones all the way.
Yeah, everybody gets a turn at each one.
Okay.
All right. John, Flintstones or Jetsons?
Flintstones.
Awesome. Yeah, both great movies, or TV shows, I mean. They ever hear the urban legend that they take place at the same time?
What?
Yeah. That, everything, there's so much like a cloud of pollution or whatever in between that you never see the Jetsons go down to the ground and you never see above a certain point. Although I don't I really don't believe. Yeah, I don't believe it, but it's one of those things you could have a in-depth conversation all night about. But Chad, we're going to talk about pizza, thin crust or Chicago deep dish.
I go thin crust all the way. Too much sauce on the Chicago deep dish. Yes. It acts up the acid reflux. So thin crust.
John, we know the answer, right?
Yeah, it's thin, but I'm not a pizza snob, though. I don't mind other cultures and other states. The deep dishes are right, but I got to go with the thin.
Yes. Greg, what about you?
I like both, but I'll go thin.
Yeah. Of course, I've made fun of him earlier in the show, but if Cascola was here, it would be about 5-minute rant on New Haven pizza coming up right about now. So, yeah.
What was the D'Amato, dude? This is a callback to 29. What was the cheese that he wanted on the pizza? Do you remember?
The mortadella. He guineaed it up in front of an urban.
That was the best.
Yeah, Southern Chad's like, what are you talking about?
Well, even the worker. like the worker didn't understand what the hell he's talking about.
Yeah, he tried to guinea it up. Give me some extra mozzarella.
Mozzarella, hey, oh.
Did he do the thing with his hands where he's pinching his fingers together?
Pretty close. And then he finally just had to say, extra cheese, please.
I gotta tell you, that's what's it called? Involuntary action to do those finger things. Trust me, as somebody who's a New Yorker but not Italian, I still do it anyway when I talk like that. So I'll defend him there.
Oh man!
Awesome. All right, John, we'll start with you. I'm not sure if you're a fan of the late night shenanigans that some of these talk shows do, but carpool karaoke or lip sync battle?
Carpool karaoke.
All right, Greg, what about you?
Carpool karaoke.
Mm-hmm. Chad?
Don't really know what either one is. I will go with carpool karaoke. I don't
James Corden, come on.
I'm an old man.
James Corden? You're not a James Corden fan?
30, John. I got 2 young kids.
James Corden is not just late night. He's he's everywhere.
He's everywhere.
After Puppy Dog Pals at 8:30, I'm done. So that's it.
I actually DVR both the Tonight Show and the Late Late Show just for their little sketches to watch with my kids when they're here. Lip Sync Battle was a lot better on Fallon than on that show with LL Cool J and the talentless Chrissy Teigen. And then Carpool Karaoke is a lot of fun, especially when they get like somebody like McCartney or Lady Gaga on. Yeah. It's a lot of fun. Just go on the YouTube, Chad. They're like 5 minutes long. I would seek out Carpool Karaoke. It's a lot of fun.
The McCartney one is really good.
It is. It is. All right. And also there's one with Michelle Obama that's really good, too, surprisingly. And it just kept driving around the property around the warehouse on it. Greg, iced tea or lemonade?
Iced tea.
All right. Chad.
I'm in the South, baby.
Yeah.
I'm in the South. I do not drink iced tea. I think it's disgusting. Lemonade.
Oh, my Lord.
Yes, that is correct.
Oh, no. Another civil war. But this time it's going the other way. John.
Ice Cube. Oh, no. I thought it was iced tea or ice cube. No, iced tea.
All right. What about you guys fans of the Arnold Palmer, where they put the two together?
Definitely.
I can fuck with that, as they say.
Yeah.
I tried that Sunday when we were watching the Masters, and that was also disgusting. So I'm not a fan of that.
Damn.
I think Chad, maybe you just haven't found the right iced tea for you yet. Whether you're sweetened, unsweetened, there's a lot of.
Well, no, I mean, there's only one iced tea down here, and it's sweetened. I mean, unsweetened might as well be blasphemy for most people. What's your preferred
the diabetes
iced tea,
capital?
Chick-fil-A, or I know Chick-fil-A iced tea is pretty
Chick-fil-A is good. Popeyes is good. Actually, there's a place called McAllister's Deli that has the best.
Yeah, McAllister's Deli. I've been there. Yeah.
I've never had Chick-fil-A's iced tea. I'm taking my kids tomorrow night, so I think I'm going to try it out.
Chick-fil-A's lemonade, also very good, has a little bit of pulp in it.
I've had that. Yeah, I think that's good.
Yeah.
The frozen at Chick-fil-A.
Yes, the frozen lemonade, really good. Yep,
really good.
Unfortunately, we only have one Chick-fil-A in this part of Connecticut. So
we have one on every block down here.
I know. Up here, it's like one of them. Like, oh wow, we got a Chick-fil-A. Wow, we got to cut for miles.
Yeah, we're finally starting to get hip. They're growing in New York, Long Island. Sure.
Yeah, we're catching up. All right, it was Chad's turn. Window seat or aisle seat?
I mostly go with a window seat if I do have to fly. It just gives you something to do, even though I always build it up in my head that you get a lot of these great visuals if you sit in a window seat, and usually just end up seeing the top of clouds, but I still go window seat.
Or the wing. John, what about you? Window seat or aisle seat?
Well, I need the extra leg room in the aisle, but I like the window because I just like to lock in so I don't have to get up. Because when I'm in the aisle, usually that means whoever's next to me is going to be getting up 3-4 times.
Yeah. Greg, what about you?
I've actually only flown twice in my life, but each time I got a window seat, and that's kind of my preference.
Yeah, usually I get the dad, can I sit at the window seat? It's like, fine.
Yeah, right.
Great, wonderful, grand. And then it's like, Dad, I have to pee. Dad, I have to do this. It's like, just sit there and be quiet. How's that? I gave you the damn window seat. What else do you want? I gave you life. Anyway. I love my kids, don't get me wrong, but yeah. John, chocolate chip or oatmeal raisin cookies?
Wow. Oatmeal raisin.
Oh, wow. All right. Greg.
What are the choices again?
Chocolate chip or oatmeal raisin?
Chocolate chip.
All right. Chad.
Yeah, I'd go chocolate chip, specifically from Great American Cookie Company.
Ah.
Top of the line.
I like Mrs. Fields myself. When you get those nice and hot out of the or Otis, no, is it Otis Spunkmeyer they have those? Or that is that? Yeah, those are pretty good too. All right, Greg, original PlayStation or original Xbox?
PlayStation.
All right.
I'm a Sony corporate suck up.
I've converted. I had an original Xbox and then I bought a PlayStation 4. So I've come over. My son has an Xbox One at his mom, so we have, and we have a Switch. So we just throw our money away. So Chad, what about you? Original PlayStation, original Xbox?
Yeah, this is tough for me because I said earlier Nintendo 64 is my favorite console. Those two are probably my number 2 and number 3. I think I'm going to lean PlayStation just because it had Metal Gear Solid and Crash Bandicoot, which I really liked, and the only exclusive game that I know for the first Xbox that I played a lot was Halo, but it's close. It's close. I like both of them, and plus, the original Xbox. I mean, that looks such like a VCR. Like that thing was so huge.
Yeah, it really was. It was like a brick. Yeah.
It is. I still have mine. I actually had to repair it, and it got a second life. Back in the, I had it a few years, and the CD drive went on me. And I went on the internet and I Googled it and I found this replacement kit and it came with instructions and a tool for like $30. It was awesome. Somebody in Kansas, they sent it to me after I paid them, of course. And it was like really easy to follow. And I am not good with repairing special electronics. And that sucker still works to this day. So
there you go.
John, what about you? Original Xbox, original PlayStation?
No, the PlayStation was the last console I had and used before I had to retire from the video game business. I had to preserve the wrists
for other activities. Okay, I see.
I laid it right in there for you. If you don't hit it out the park like a true Aaron Judge, then I don't know what to tell you.
Hey, being on Year of Pop with you, I kind of learned a thing or two. So, all right, Chad, U2 or the Police?
Ooh, that's kind of tough.
They're not meant to be easy.
I will go with the Police, I think.
Okay.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm not too confident on that, but probably just on the basis of synchronicity.
Yeah, I hear that.
That album overall.
John, what about you?
Oh, Police all the way. That's a slam dunk for me.
All right.
I'm not a big U2 fan and a hardcore Police fan.
Hey, there you go. Greg, what about you?
Primarily due to familiarity, I'm going to go U2. I like the Police's hits, but U2 has some of my all-time favorite songs, so I'll go with them.
Yeah. I think there's a couple of U2 songs that I prefer over every Police song, but I just enjoy the catalog of the Police more, probably, I would think. So, yeah, for me, it's a toss-up, but I'd probably have to go the Police, gun to the head. John, Seinfeld or Friends?
Oh, don't even ask that.
Okay, well, I did.
Seinfeld, come on. But yeah, Seinfeld.
Hey, you never know. When this goes up on the Facebook page, you might be surprised. So, Greg, Seinfeld or Friends?
Friends all the way.
Oh, see? There you go. See, we already have a debate. Chad?
I think if you pick Friends, you're a cop. Seinfeld 11 times out of 10.
Come on.
No, I would probably go Seinfeld, but Friends is right behind it. They've had quite a few of the funny, memorable episodes of Friends on TBS when I've caught it the last couple of weeks. So that's kind of heightened my Friends awareness lately. Okay, and our last question of the night, Greg. Ping pong or foosball?
Ooh, I'll go ping pong.
All right, there you go. Chad.
I'll just do the caveat. I prefer air hockey to either one.
Yes,
of the two. I will go foosball if the choice is given.
Okay. John.
Ping pong.
There you go. Yeah, all right, for a future, you guys count me out with a future debate question. What would be a good opponent to air hockey? What do you guys think?
Pool, maybe?
Shuffle bowling? Is that a good bar game? Or how about this bubble hockey?
I don't actually know what that is.
No. Bubble hockey is it's like the clear dome, and you have the guys the hockey players on the sticks, and the ball.
Yeah.
And the ball.
It sounds awesome. I don't know why I've never seen it before.
Yeah, maybe they don't have it in the South.
They don't have it. It hasn't reached our area yet.
No, yeah.
John, you know what bubble hockey is, right? Help me out.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. What were you saying, Chad?
I'm with you on that.
I usually relate like shuffleboard and cornhole kind of together, but just depends on the.
Well, not shuffleboard. You ever play shuffle bowling? It's the thing that they put the sawdust on in the bar, and you have like a puck, and you slide it down through the pins that go up. into the thing. Is that another thing that hasn't made it to the South yet?
Well, not with the pins, just like the different areas.
Brother, we just got talking motion pictures down here. So.
You got them talkies. Oh, well, how are you enjoying the color pictures? You know, I know you guys had black and whites for a while, but, you know.
Yeah, well, I can finally watch the Andy Griffith Show the way it was meant to be seen.
Or Gilligan's Island.
Yeah. I mean, this is big talk on advancement from somebody that tapes both late night shows and was talking about getting their Xbox prepared. So I don't know if we want to go down that avenue.
Hey, I dish it out. I can take it. Come on. Have at it.
Old cast.
I know. Believe me, I got hammered for my Buffy the Vampire Slayer love on the first couple episodes. So trust me.
Right.
All right. Awesome job, guys. A lot of fun. I know we did the live read earlier, but if there's anything coming up you'd like to plug, John, when are we going to see the next This Week in Sports?
We're probably going to go bi-weekly, so we just did it last week. So next week we'll keep up with the NBA playoffs and other shenanigans.
All right, and I'm sure we'll hear you on the Place to Be podcast soon enough. Right? You're there for the WrestleMania 5?
We got WrestleMania 5. We got a preview of it coming, and then we'll do the proper WrestleMania 5.
Awesome. And you will be on. We're looking towards late to end of May for the next episode of Year in Pop 1975. So check out the old cast, yes, which we gladly accept that moniker. Greg, what's going on over in the HTF studios?
Well, in Ho Ho Loon Plaza, where we record all of our episodes up in Vancouver, every week, actually, we are approaching 3 years of, or may have already passed it. I can't remember. I think we're approaching 3 years of every week here on PTBN Pop. So we're pretty proud of that. And we've actually got another theme month coming up in May, which is next month, of course. That's going to be Avengers month. Obviously, Avengers Endgame is coming out, and so we're going to dedicate the entire month of May to the Avengers. We'll be looking at Avengers comic books, Avengers video games, everything under the sun related to Earth's mightiest heroes. And then on Talkin' WCW, our next episode, which we'll be recording soon, will be dedicated entirely to the Steiner brothers. So I'm looking forward to seeing dudes getting dumped on their heads.
Awesome. It's going to be a lot of Avengers talk. We have the next episode. Greg, you're going to be on looking back to big summer movie preview, and you're participating in the contest. So I appreciate that and looking forward to hearing everybody's procrastination. I don't know. Everybody's picks.
Prognostication.
Yes, masturbation. What? Anyway. Yeah. So we're looking forward to that. And Chad, you got anything coming in? How's anything more coming with Wrestling Warzone?
Just looked it up for you, Greg. June 5th, 2014. Is when you dropped the first podcast of the Hard Traveling Fanboys.
Wow.
I'll never forget. I was in a Arby's/gas station when I listened to that first podcast on the road. So, one for the memory bank. No, I think we're going to try to record next week. Behind the curtain, we usually record on Wednesday nights, so I bumped JT this week to record with you fine gentlemen. But I think we're looking at next week for the January 1st Raw and Nitros.
Awesome. Looking forward to it. So for me, like I said, I have Looking Forward, Looking Back coming. The next episode of Laugh in Theater with Mr. Tim Capel. We talked about the 1984 comedy classic Ghostbusters. That should be dropped. I believe it's dropping Monday, April 22nd. And then I'm recording another episode of Laugh in Theater with Mr. Russell Sellers. We're going to talk probably the most recent movie I've done yet, and this will be the 5th episode. So stay tuned for that. Won't reveal what movie it is. You'll see it when it drops, and it's a lot of fun. Very quotable as usual, like most of the movies are on Laugh in Theater. And then, like I said, Year in Pop's coming, and more great debate. Blah blah blah. Yada 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 will be coming. I believe I'm supposed to be on the next episode of Main Event. Talking about, we're going to do the Great Debate. So that's where I don't really talk about wrestling on this show because I saved that for Scott. We have a deal. When I signed him to be the co-host of Year in Pop, he said, you got to bring Great Debate, but you can't do wrestling on the Pop feed. So that's the deal we have going. All right. So I want to thank you, gentlemen, and Chad especially for dissing Mr. Rosero tonight for us. I really appreciate it. And,
anytime.
Eddie.
Yeah, thanks for having us on, Andy. You were a great host. Absolutely phenomenal.
Thank you.
Job keeping this thing on track.
Thank you, Greg. Yes, I could do. I appreciate. Place to Be Nation has become a second home for me, and I really appreciate everybody. The website is going to be back up and running soon with a lot more content. And, this is just a great family. That was the biggest takeaway for WrestleMania 35 weekend was, I know I'm closing the show, but let me take a little sidebar. I got a shout out to the Cowboy, Roger Morissette, and Mr. Andy Flanagan, and Ryder, Roger's nephew. Never met before, but had an extra ticket, and I sat with those guys, had a great time watching NXT TakeOver New York, I think it was. Really good seats. We were in the front row of the top section. So right there, ringside, the ring view was awesome. Could see their entrances right above the where they taped the pre-show. That was a lot of fun. Got to meet, everybody for a minute because it was a cold, rainy night in Brooklyn. And then on Sunday, WrestleMania, I got to meet, I met Justin Friday. I met John, met Jenny, Stacy, Mark Claire. Who else was there? I knew the doctor beforehand. And then on Sunday with, meeting Neil Trauma, Glenny Bunn, which was a real treat. And Aaron George, coming in. Mark Poirier was there. If I forgot anybody, I do apologize. It was a great time. I miss Brad. Apparently, I was one section away from you guys and nobody told me Brad was out in the concession area. But that's okay. Well, I'll get to meet Brad one day. And hopefully I'll be meeting Chad and Greg and all the Southern contingent in Tampa next year. But, hopefully that'll happen. And then...
that'd be great, man.
Yeah, I've heard legend of the Nick Duke tailgate legend. So I am eager to partake in that.
And you and I don't think I've met Stacy face to face yet, so that's something I gotta take care of. And I don't think that I've met Chad face to face either. I don't know, Chad. Are you planning on being a part of the festivities next year?
Should I be the bearer of bad news?
We got a year to talk them into it. We have a year to talk them into it.
There's about an 85% chance I will be setting sail on a cruise date the Saturday before. Hey, the wife's a teacher. Spring break. There's only limited time.
Hey, you could take the cruise and sail around to Tampa Bay.
Yeah,
and just meet us there. So
happy wife, happy life.
Yeah, exactly.
Gotta do what you gotta do. That's a shame.
This is a delayed 10-year anniversary trip, so it's one I don't think she's bargaining away from for me to go to WrestleMania.
I am divorced, so you can tell, but that's why it was a 15-year period between
this is your family now.
I know. Yes, and I actually
this is our family reunion. That's the only time I'm not miserable. That's the only weekend.
Yeah, you get to meet your weird uncle and cousins. But I'm with a great girl now who actually humors me and watches wrestling with me. She does like watching the women's matches. And I'm trying to get her and her son to go to their first house show. I believe July. They're coming to the Bridgeport Arena. So that's going to be quite a show. It'll be more fun watching their reactions than the actual wrestling that night. But, looking forward to it. So
just put the hammer down and let her know that the first couple weeks of April, don't make any vacation plans. That's your time.
No, she's good. She's I already told her. I'm like, I'm going to Tampa next year. She's like, okay, fine.
Nice.
No, she's cool. I mean, this is both of our second chances, and we're better people for it now. So it's awesome. I love you, Ellen. Thank you for allowing me to enjoy my wrestling with the guys. I want to thank you guys once again. I know I say thank you, gush, but I really appreciate it. This is my 5th episode of Great Debate. I hope everybody's enjoying it. I hope everybody's participating in the daily polls. I try to put up a poll every night. Also a wrestling poll, but sometimes, either life gets in the way, I'm out, or I just can't think of one. So if anybody's got ideas for whether they're regular pop culture sports debates or for wrestling debates, please send them to me on Facebook by private message. Or you can send it to The Great Debate Pop, I think is the website, the address. Or, just hit me up. And if you got a thing, and I will credit you. Chad has submitted some great wrestling topics for great debate. So I appreciate that, and hopefully he'll get some more to me at some time in the future. And just keep visiting the site and listening to both feeds. So, for Greg Phillips, Chad Campbell, and Arsenio D'Amato, I'm Andy Atherton. Thank you for joining me on The Great Debate, and we'll see you on the next show. Take care, everybody.
Chọc cây. Fucking chọc cây. Oh God.